Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about parallel lines and slope. Well, we've done previous videos on what slope is. We've talked about we could find slope from a graph, it's rise over run, or we could find the slope from a table or a set of coordinate points, like 2 points that we're going to see on examples 2 and 3 here, where we use our slope formula, where it's m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So in this video we're going to continue talking about slope, but we're going to focus more on parallel lines. What is true about the slopes of lines that are parallel? Well, let's find out. First of all, what are lines that are parallel? It says lines in the same plane that do not intersect, right? So that's the key. They do not intersect. They're in the same plane. Those are called parallel lines. So what is true about their slopes? It says non-vertical parallel lines have the same slope. So any lines that are not vertical, as long as they have the same slope, they would be parallel. So what does that mean about vertical lines? Well, all vertical lines are parallel. So the reason why that's in there is because the slope of a vertical line, if you remember from previous video, is undefined. So it seems a little bit strange to say undefined is the same as undefined when you can't even define it, right? So that's why we just say, hey, all vertical lines are parallel, okay? All right, so we're going to do this in two different ways. Number one, we're going to look at 3 lines that are already graphed. We're going to find the slope of each line, and then we're going to decide, okay, which of these lines are parallel, if any. And then for 2 and 3, we're going to find the slope between those 2 points, and then we'll see if those are the same, we could say they're parallel, but if not, we would say they're not parallel. So let's dive in. Number one, let's start with our pink line. I will zoom in a little bit so we can see this more clearly. And I'm going to do rise over run. So from my leftmost point to my rightmost point, we'll go 1, 2. That's 2 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this one looks like the slope is 2 over 6, which would reduce to 1/3, right? Okay, now let's look at our blue line. Also 1, 2 units for our rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and also 6 units for the run. So we would say that the slope is also 1/3. So far we have our pink line, which we could label this as line A, and then we'll do line B and line C. So far we know lines A and B are parallel because they have the same slope. Now let's look at line C, our last one. We go 1, 2, we have a rise of 2, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but our run is 8. So that would not be 1/3, that would be 1/4, right? So we would say that line A is parallel to line B, and that's all we would have. Notice this marking that I did here. It's just like 2 bars or 2 vertical lines next to each other. You read that as is parallel to. So A is parallel to B. Why? Because they both have a slope of 1/3, and since their slope is the same, we can say they are parallel. All right, let's dive over here into numbers 2 and 3. So for these, we're going to find the slope between the points, and then we'll just compare and see if they are the same or not. So I'm going to label x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So remember, m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. All right, so we're going to put in here 2 minus -1 divided by 6 minus 1. So we know this would become plus, so 2 plus 1 is 3. 6 minus 1 would be 5. So our slope would be 3/5. Okay. So now, when we find the slope on number 3, if the slope is 3/5, we would say yes, they are parallel. But if it's anything else, we would say they're not parallel. So let's find out. So x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Remember, I said this in a previous video, but if you haven't seen that one yet, when I say the word sub, it just means subscript. So technically you don't have to say that, but it is the most accurate way to describe what we're doing there, because a subscript is the little number at the bottom, and it just refers to as a location, right, or a numbering system kind of. So if I say x sub 1, y sub 1, that is the x and y coordinate of point number 1, right? Okay, so m equals, we write down our formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. All right, so this would be -3 minus -3 over 5 minus 2. Well, once again, our numerator becomes plus, and that's going to be 0. 0 over 3, which would just equal 0. Okay, so now 3/5, 0, obviously not the same number, so the slope is not the same. So we would say that these lines are not parallel. All right. So we showed that the parallel symbol on number 1. So if I wanted to call this, let's say this was line A, and this was line B. All right, so if we plot those 2 points and we drew a line through them, right, line A, line B. So for this one, we would say line A is not parallel to line B. So notice we have the same is parallel symbol, but we did a diagonal slash through it. So that means is not parallel to, okay? So to summarize, two lines in the same plane that do not intersect are parallel lines. And if they are parallel, that means when you go to find their slope, it's gonna be the same thing. So it's a little bit about parallel lines and slope.